We're gonna go ahead and start with the starter. This jar I usually fill with enough to make 2 to 3 loaves. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is scrape the walls. Make sure that you get all the leftover starter in there, not too much starter, because the more starter that you have in the jar, the more you're gonna have to feed it in order for it to thrive. I keep a little bit, scrape the sides, just enough, add the water, and then go ahead and add the all-purpose flour. So it's all about consistency here. I don't really measure it anymore, even though it's on the scale there, because I was going to share just how much I actually use, but in reality, you want to just get to a thick consistency. That's what's going to give you the strongest rise. If you water it too much and it doesn't look like this, that's when you're going to run into some issues. It's not going to grow as well. I always use a marker. I mark it exactly where it's at when I mix it. Make sure that when it's rising, you mark that as well. So then you can go back and look at it. If it's still growing, you can give it another mark. If it starts to drop past that mark, that's when you're gonna wanna use it. So let it rise as much as possible. Try to catch it before it drops too much. Then once you go ahead and put that into the bowl, you're gonna wanna go ahead and mix the water with it. So this recipe right now that you're seeing is for 2 loaves. You go ahead and mix the starter. It should float really nicely. If it doesn't, it's stuck to the bottom, that's okay. But once you get it to be that thick, you shouldn't have any problems. So give it a good mix, make sure that it's all off the walls there, make sure that it's all mixed as much as possible, so that way when you add the flour, it's evenly spread. I use bread flour. This grows the most as far as the final product. I've tried all purpose. It still gives you a good loaf, but this 12.7% gluten really does a good job. And I actually avoid gluten outside of this sourdough, and this doesn't bother me at all. It's pretty great. This takes a little bit of time here. You're gonna wanna mix this really well. You don't want any dry pieces. In the beginning, that's something that was kind of hard to do because you would mix it a lot, but it's all about continuing until it gets nice and sticky. Everything's off the walls. The bottom, check the bottom. You want to flip it from the bottom. Make sure there's no dry pieces there. Your forearms are going to hurt. That's okay. Just keep going. I really recommend this tool too. It's listed on the Amazon cart that I have there on the guide. You can do a lot of this stuff with just the basics that you have around the kitchen, but it's kind of a game changer compared to using a spatula or any other form of mixer or even your hands. Now that's nice and mixed. You're gonna wanna go ahead and cover it. Another great recommendation, get these hair covers. I got a big pack of them. They're so useful. What I did there, I mixed the flour, I mixed the water, I mixed the starter together, and then I put a timer for 30 minutes. At 30 minutes, that's when I add the salt. You're gonna wanna do 10 grams of salt. This has 20. And then just press it in with your fingers, just to make sure it's also evenly distributed right before you start doing your first stretch and fold. So I combine the first stretch and fold with the salt. Spray your hands, get yourself a cheap spray bottle. You can pick them up just about anywhere. It comes in really handy. Put some filtered water in there, spray your hands so that way nothing sticks. And scrape from below. You wanna scrape from below, pull up, and fold right over the bread. It'll start getting harder to pull and harder to fold as you keep on going. You're building that resistance. So this is the first fold, so you're gonna go ahead and do it about 8 times. So in the beginning, when I first started doing it, I would let it bulk from it first for an hour and then start doing the folds. Now I just go straight into the folds. I like to include a slap and fold, which at first is a little kind of tricky to get used to, especially I do it in the bowl, which some people do it on the table or countertop, and that's easier. But I just try to keep the kitchen clean, so I do it in the bowl. It's once you start doing a few, you'll notice that it starts becoming almost like a nice tense ball. That's what you're seeking. This is after bulk fermentation. You leave it for a couple hours. Instead of just saying, leave it for 3 hours, 4 hours, just leave it for at least 2 hours, check on it. You're gonna wanna see it dome. You're gonna see some bubbles around the edges. Go ahead and let it come off the bowl. That's actually the way to keep the bowl the cleanest. So you're not killing yourself washing afterwards. It takes time, just let it kind of pour out. And once it plops out, you're good to go. Obviously 2 loaves, so I separate them at this point with the scraper there. Now this takes some practice if you're doing it for the first time, but I promise you'll get the hang of it. It's not very hard. It looks, I think, fancier than it is, but ultimately you're kind of pulling the bench scraper underneath and pulling it towards you. You'll start to form some nice bubbles like that. You can pop those. Once you kind of have them shaped, then you go ahead and use your hands, because then you can tuck your hands underneath it and pull towards you. Now, I've done regular AP flour. Rice flour works the best, in my opinion. It doesn't kind of cake on later on. You can sprinkle just a little bit. It works really well, but AP flour is fine if that's all you have. Now, this little fancy tool that I'm using there, I actually found, I believe this is a tea infuser. It's definitely not for what I'm using it for, but I saw a pack of 2 very cheap somewhere. Picked them up, a couple bucks, and it works fantastic. Instead of using your hands and just throwing, wasting it. Go ahead and flip it over, and this is when you're going to go ahead and shape it to put into your basket overnight. So this one was a little tense compared to normal for me. So if you notice, when I'm pulling it apart, it's kind of going right back into that shape, which is fine. Just try to give yourself some real estate with it on the table there, so then you can go ahead and fold it. So there's so many different ways to fold it. I think this is good enough. It's very simple. You basically do like an envelope fold. You pinch the edge a little bit there so it doesn't spread out too much, and then just roll it. Every time you roll it, you pull it towards you and create tension. I pinch the bottom a little bit so it doesn't flap open, and then I pinch the sides with my hands. This is, to me, works the best. You keep them kind of pinching until it doesn't come apart anymore, and then you can go ahead and put it into the basket right after that. So any little loose corners that you see, once you put it into your basket, you can go ahead and pinch again. Make sure kind of all the seams are squeezed together. Now, listen, these Banneton baskets are amazing. They're also listed on the guide, but I've done it with a towel in a colander. I've done it with a towel in a regular bowl. It's fine. You'll be okay. I give it a little shake to make the flour kind of go around the edges. You can do if you have these baskets, you can do it with or without the liner. Without the liner, you get those pretty lines. But honestly, the wood, the bamboo or whatever the wood is, gets kind of messy. It gets caked on and dry. So this is great because once you use it a couple times, you can go ahead and wash them and put them right back in. So same thing here. Go ahead and stretch it out. Give it one fold. Fold it over again. Pinch it shut. Now, I'm certainly no expert. I'm learning a lot of this stuff myself, but after many, many recipes and many different attempts, this has become kind of second nature. It's very simple and you get great results. So I put these in the fridge overnight, and then the next morning, the most exciting part is, the next morning you get to heat your oven and go ahead and bake your bread. This little fancy sling, it's awesome. For a while I was doing parchment paper. You waste a lot of it. It still works great, but if you can pick up one of these, I highly recommend that you just wipe them down, clean them every so often, and they work great. So I dust off the flour. I don't like it to have too much flour once bread is baked. And then you score it. So a lot of technique in scoring you read about as well, but honestly, a nice angled, not too deep, slash across the top, make sure you go all the way to the sides, is all you need to do. Dutch oven here is nice and hot. The oven was preheating with it inside. Go ahead and throw it in. Now, before you cover it, get that spray bottle out. You want to spritz it, give it some moisture so that, really helps it grow. Once that's done, seal it really nice and quick. Throw it in the oven. I do 450 for 30 minutes. Obviously, every oven is different, but at 30 minutes, I take the lid off. So you spray it now, put it back in the oven, no lid, 10 minutes. This is the final result. So this is one of the loaves here. This is the one that you just saw me score. See, the bottom's a little burnt there. I like it like that. The family does not. So now this one here, we love everything but a bagel seasoning on it. You didn't see me score this one. Basically the same exact thing. I gave it a couple little slashes on the side to create that flower pattern. All the same. And then let's look at the crumb. Now, come on. What's more exciting than this moment when you get to see the inside? Look at that beautiful thing. Lots of holes, pretty even, nice and soft.